So we just had our 200th episode, and 6 months ago, we also started making our podcast visually for YouTube.
Yeah. So how's that going, actually?
Well, what can I say?
Like numbers. Give me some numbers. How many views have we got?
Oh, well, it's well into the tens.
Like tens of thousands?
No, but lots of tens.
Oh, okay, just break it down to me. Explain this. Okay.
For example, episode 190, What Went Wrong, the one about Disneyland Hotel, that had 196 views.
Okay, well, that's something.
191, 192 both have double digits. But then our April 1st Back to Wonderland episode had 196 again.
Is YouTube putting some kind of cap on us or something?
Seems like it. Our least popular episode so far is 197, Fine Day at DLP, that had 27 views.
Ouch, that seems unfair. Man.
And then, both our Cardi B and Taylor Swift episodes, not higher than 45.
Okay. I mean, what aren't we doing right?
Well, it could be many factors that are out of our power, but I think your daughter suggested we should post more shorts to bring up the engagement algorithm.
I mean, yeah, she's my go-to communications guru. But I feel like we've both been really busy lately and haven't had a lot of time to put together shorts.
I know, right? I mean, it's hard to keep up a social presence, but I think we can get a few more views if we try to snazz up ourselves a little bit by adopting the tried and tested YouTube presenting format. Like one of them could be a dog. Come here.
I don't know.
There you go. Hello, Baloo. Yeah. Who's a good doggy? So now our views are going up, you see. You're a good doggy.
I guess people do like
yes, you are.
dogs. I don't know. I thought cats were in charge of the internet, and I've been putting my cat on, but
but I think dogs are now the more in thing with Gen Z.
Oh, okay. Are you sure this is the right path for us, Marq? I don't know if I'm comfortable with any of this.
No worries. I'll carry this one. So what do they usually say? Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? My name's Marq, this is Beth, and we're D2DLP. Thank you for tuning into episode 201. We've got a great show for you today, so stick around while let's discover the latest news out of their favorite child-friendly boat ride in DLP. Or actually, is it the second favorite? We have a mega-lit trip report by Vince from the US in our Love Our Listeners, and you get to see our fabulous faces. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click on like, and also tell YouTube how much you love our show and wished it popped up in our suggested feeds more often. Let us check in with my co-host, Beth. What up?
Yeah, hi everybody. Hello, Marq. Now let's not forget our listeners on the podcatchers who faithfully download us.
Right on my YouTube tribe. Let's check out this new OG merch that DLP just dropped. Oh my God! I need it now, am I right? Full disclosure, we have no affiliate links, so if you buy any of these items, we will not receive a small percentage that helps keep this channel going. But as always, all opinions are our own, and we definitely don't get paid to bring you the hottest content every 2 weeks. What's that? Not enough, you say? How about some shorts about shirts? Hit that notification bell so you know when something new drops. Peace! Let's get straight into the news. Roll the jingle! Why don't you drop the first newsie?
Indeed. On the 30th of August 2024, Disneyland Paris finally reopened Le Pays des Contes de Fées after a lengthy months-long refurbishment. And as we reported previously, the attraction gained 3 new miniature scenes, one with the ice mountains of Frozen, another with the balloon house from Up, and third is the iconic house tree from Winnie the Pooh. It's the 30th anniversary of this enchanting Fantasyland attraction, and to celebrate it, the first visitors of the ride received the gorgeous new attraction poster designed by Rob Yao, who also created our logo, and so we're super happy about that.
Yes, indeed. But now let's talk about big bucks. We know the Walt Disney Corporation makes millions out of Disneyland Paris, but this summer it was a major return to the movies that helped the Dismeister make billions.
Mark, I appreciate your commitment to this, but are you really going to keep it up for the whole show?
Check it out, Beth. We just gained 3 new viewers since I started presenting like this.
But okay, but frankly, I just feel like a little maybe out of step, a little not quite aligned with the usual style of the show.
Like, subscribe down there, hit the notify.
I don't, it's, with a podcast, it's just not the same. I don't think it works.
Yeah.
Bless you for trying.
It's been a very successful summer season for Disney, with 2 frontrunners at the box office, namely Deadpool and Wolverine, gaining $1.3 billion, and Inside Out 2 still going strong with ticket sales worth $1.6 billion and counting. Don't forget, Joy can still be seen in the Million Splashes of Color Day Parade at DLP, which will end later this month before the park enters its annual Halloween season on October 1st. Deadpool, however, has not returned to Avengers Campus since his one-day appearance when the movie premiered. Was it something he said?
And finally, not 1, not 2, but actually 3 press releases about Alice and the Queen of Hearts Back to Wonderland.
Ah, yes, Alice receiving more love in 2 weeks from DLP than Carmen does in a year on this show.
If you say so, buddy. First off, the show has received an additional character, and as far as we're concerned, a really welcome one, a French sign language translator. It was show director Matteo Borghi's intention to have a signing performer be an integral part of this offbeat world created at the Theater of the Stars. Says Borghi, I gave this performer the role of the Dormouse because in the film he takes part in the Mad Hatter's tea party and loves tea, which is a recurring theme in the show. Mm-hmm. What's more, the performer's position as an observer means they can take sides with Alice and the Queen at different moments in the show. With the French Sign Language coach and the writer who brought the adaptation to life, we opted to mix pure adaptation with chansigne, an art form that consists of expressing the words of a song translated into sign language to the rhythm of the music. This allowed us to demonstrate both Alice's dreamy pop spirit and the Queen of Hearts' more rock and roll one. The performer was filmed in a studio with a green screen so she could be projected during the show, a process that in all took 1 year to complete. It follows similar additions to the Lion King, Rhythm of the Pride Lands show at the Frontierland Theater, Mickey and the Magician, and it's great to know that more musical shows are integrating sign language for the deaf.
Indeed. I mean, even Coldplay has started doing the same at their concerts, giving their guests special vests that give them like haptic feedback from when the music is being played, like the bass or the rhythm. And yeah, in fact, I think Coldplay could go very well with the Alice show. Maybe they could do like a special nighttime edition in a sky full of stars, in the Theater of the Stars, while, the White Rabbit chases his clocks, because after all, most of the stage is already all yellow.
Okay, you're stuck on the puns again there, Mark. I'll try to fix you, but I don't have much hope. Talking about colors, DLP also gave us a look behind the scenes with costume makers of this very show, Isabelle Antoine and Malika Sif. Isabelle described her choices behind the Mad Hatter's costume as being based on the original Disney classic. Since I used the same colors as those featured in the costumes from the 1951 movie, the character will wear a green outfit. Yet, since his thoughts are truly rambling, I imagined a costume based on the contrast between straight lines and curves. While his shoes and jacket feature straight lines, curves embellish other parts of his costume. His outfit is whimsical. As for his hat, I want it to look like a thread spool, which is a symbol for milliners and seamstresses. Thus, the top part of his hat's akin to the edge of a spool into which needles could be inserted. Malika insult those needles. They're worth nothing. Malika, for her part, mainly worked on the playing cards costumes, which she says are reminiscent of the hip-hop movement, modern society, and Gen Z. You may be wondering how these costumes work in all the different climates of an outdoor show at Disneyland Paris, and Malika lifted the veil on how they make sure the very active performers' well-being is safeguarded. When we start designing costumes for this show, we immediately think about the seasons when performances will take place, and we take temperature changes into account. Our performers will wear their regular costumes along with bodysuits made of thick materials for winter and thinner materials for summer.
Well, yes, that's good to know, because obviously this show does go on, as far as we know, since it started for the whole year, meaning it started in a fresh spring, has gone on through the summer, and nobody's told us that it's going to stop for winter, so we will have to see. But yeah, that's good to know that they're taking care of their performance. But I think the same is for parade performers as well, because if you have a show indoors in one of the theaters, obviously you're going to have controlled temperature there, so you don't have to worry that much about it. But when you're out in this show or the parades, you have to be ready for all kinds of weather. So anyway, a nice little insight. If you're interested in that, you can actually read that article on Disneyland Paris's news website. And it's just very interesting to see how costume designers approach a new show. So now let's see. I think it's time to see what our lovely listeners have sent in. Don't you agree?
Let's do it.
Easy listening for the easy listeners.
Once again, friends, we come to the segment of our show that's my own personal favorite at this point. I can't stress enough how heartwarming and motivating it is to get emails from our listeners.
I totally agree. It's a clear indication that we aren't just here talking to ourselves like a couple of crazy people.
Okay, well, maybe we are kind of crazy about Disneyland Paris, that is.
Nice one. That would not even pass as a dad joke, though. But yeah, it's
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, fair enough. Fortunately, though, I mean, good things await us here. We have a really fabulous trip report from a listener based in the USA. I think everybody's really going to enjoy this one. So let's hear from Vince now, shall we?
Yep.
I'll start us off. Okay. Hi, Mark and Beth. Thank you so much for your informative and enjoyable podcast. My family is from California, so every time we go to a Disney experience elsewhere in the world, I find a couple of podcasts dedicated to that location as part of my research. Yours is my favorite of those focused on DLP. Yes. As a way to give back and say thank you, here are my thoughts on our visit to DLP. This is long, so please edit as you see fit. Okay, already I have to stop us here. That
it hasn't even begun yet.
I love it so much. That really, it's so motivating. Yes. And I'm exactly the same way when I have a new Disney experience in mind. I am hitting the podcasts, keeping up with all the latest news. And I'm glad that we are the go-to for so many cool people.
I mean, that's why we keep doing this, because, all right, maybe YouTube isn't a good indication, but we do have quite a lot of listeners on the podcast. Yeah. A lot of downloads on the podcast. So, that YouTube thing is just a little bit extra. But you're right. What is the attraction of having some podcasts about a place is that you don't have to spend hours going through website, and especially now where every new website you go to, you have to click on the cookies thing, and there's commercials or whatever. And there's like a podcast you can just sit back and relax and listen to about the inside story of a certain park. So, what has Vince got to say here?
Oh, well, why don't you continue on for us?
All right. Vince says, for context, we are a family of 4 with dad, me, mum, and 2 sons, ages 11 and 8. We were in Paris for the Olympics and afterwards spent 3 nights in Disneyland Hotel, August 13 to 16. So we had 2 full days and 2 partial days. This ended up being a perfect amount of time for us. In the lead up to the trip, I worked with a travel agent, Heather at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, to understand the difference between DLP and the Californian parks. I made dinner reservations a couple of months in advance and had looked into the Premier Access Pass for the week before check-in. Not for the week, but the week before they checked in. For the week we were going, it was 175 euros per person per day. So our family of 4 would spend 700 euros per day on Premier Access passes. If we do it for just the 2 full days we were there, we'd be looking at 1,400 euros.
Yeah.
In addition to, the tickets, the park tickets.
Right.
This made the decision to not buy it an easy one, and we gave ourselves permission to buy a few passes a la carte during the week, which ultimately totaled only 90 euros over the course of our trip, a savings of over 1,300 euros.
I love it. Spend 90 euros and you save 1,300. It's Disney dad math.
Check-in at the Disneyland Hotel. Ooh, very nice. Went well. The cast member at check-in was great. He was with us when we tried to activate the magic key on our phone, but it wasn't working, so he quickly issued us plastic keys. Oh, magic key's not working. I'm so glad that we had the physical keys because they always worked well in the hotel and the parks. Almost every time we went to the park, we saw people struggling at the entry gates, and they were always using the DLP app on their phones. I'm sorry to hear that for those people with the Magic Pass and their phones. This was especially terrible at the magic hour when delays of people in front of you would exponentially increase your wait time at Crush's coaster. At the hotel, we stayed in a superior room, which was just a standard room adjacent to the parking lot. To paraphrase Dash, if everyone is superior, then no one is superior. Of the hotel amenities, my younger son and I used the pool on the 3rd day, and it was like a really nice hotel pool, not the water slides of the Anaheim hotels, but still very nice. It was an indoor pool, which I could see being a really fun option in the winters. The afternoon of our first day, my oldest son had a Royal Dream appointment at the Royal Boutique, which was makeup and hair. To add an outfit would have been around 400. I keep forgetting about these prices at the Disneyland Hotel. Would have been around 400 euros, so we didn't do that. He and my wife really enjoyed the experience, which included a posed picture.
Oh, yeah, that does sound fun. And, at the end, there's a little bit of a plot twist. So everybody hang in there.
All right.
Okay.
Every morning. You want to do it?
Yeah. Let me read a little bit here. I want to be a part of the magic. Okay. Every morning we had breakfast in the hotel at the Royal Banquet Restaurant in the Disneyland Hotel. This was included in the half-board meal plan and was a nicer than average hotel continental buffet breakfast. For lunches, we ate at Plaza Gardens and Coco's in DLP and Annette's Diner at Disney Village. As a family of 4, every meal was about 100 to 150 euros. These meals were all fine. Of these 3, our favorite was probably Coco's because finding something approximating Mexican food can be a challenge in Europe, and the ambiance was pleasant. Plaza Gardens was a buffet and felt overpriced at 140 euros, but it got the job done as it was our first meal on the first day and we were still getting our bearings. Coming from California, Annette's was an amusing take on a 1950s USA diner. It was a step above a Denny's. You know, it's a U.S. chain restaurant. Yes. Some people might know. Of course, at double Denny's prices. It made for a fun opportunity to talk about the early days of Disneyland and the Mickey Mouse Club and look up who was still alive from those early days. I think that's a fun take on going to Annette's. Make it like extra Disney by going into old trivia from the 50s.
Yes, if that's your take on it. The other side is way of looking at it is like a bit morbid, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. Who's still alive? Well, they didn't look up who was dead. They looked up who's still alive. Yes. It's a glass half full. Okay, let me go on to dinners. The first evening, we had a 6 p.m. dinner reservation at Lumiere's restaurant in the Disneyland Hotel. They had great prefix options and nice champagne pairings. For characters Snow White, Cinderella, Belle, and the respective princes were visiting the tables. Somehow we got skipped by Snow White, and they didn't return before we left.
Aww.
Yeah, man. Most important was to see Belle, and this ultimately happened. Pro tip, they sell autographed books at the check-in desk. So instead of running across the hall to Royal Banquet to quickly buy one,
no,
Royal Boutique, sorry. Yeah. We could have just purchased one up front with the half-board meal plan. Well, yeah, I guess that would be like the authentic experience when you run into a celebrity.
Exactly.
But I feel like Belle has to sign a book. You know, a book is her thing. Let's see, the half-board meal plan. This ended up being pretty reasonable as we only had to pay extra for alcoholic drinks. This was one of our favorite meals of our entire trip and a must for anyone staying at the Disneyland Hotel.
There you go.
That's a good recommendation.
Yes.
I haven't heard too much directly from people who've been to Lumiere's, and this is some really good feedback.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they found it to really be worth it. Yeah. Why don't you take us through their meal at Remy's?
The second night we ate at Remy's in Walt Disney Studios. It was cute and had nice ambiance. Not as nice as Lumiere's, but also not nearly as expensive. The third night was at Captain Jack's in DLP, one of my favorites. This is just like the Blue Bayou in Anaheim. In fact, it used to be called Blue Bayou before they changed it to Captain Jack's. But feels even nicer and uses the space well. At quite a few of these places, we got fish entrees, and they often seemed on the bland side and maybe a little overcooked. We often liked the chicken and beef meals better. On the final day, we had an early dinner at Walt's on Main Street. This was another meal highlight for us. It does a great job showcasing the early Disneyland history in an upscale Victorian ambience. My oldest son had heard online about ordering beans in a can, and our waitress had no idea what he was talking about. On a hunch, my wife ordered a chili entree, and it came with beans in a ceramic can. Thus, she ended up swapping meals with him, and he called it his favorite meal of the whole trip. I figured out later that Walt's chili is the menu item that we were seeking.
That seems like a bit of a letdown on the part of the cast member. It's not like they have that extensive of a menu in that place.
Yeah, but they don't call it a can. Because it's a ceramic
But I think... Oh, well... I mean, all right.
I can
because Walt did like canned chili, and so I'm sure that the ceramic can is really symbolically supposed to be a can.
You're saying
it would be nice.
Somebody working at Walt's restaurant should know that history element about Walt.
I think so. It's not like they have like a 20-page menu or something. It's very limited. And I think that they should make the most of these little historical details. Somebody went to all the trouble of planning this menu out and getting these ceramic cans ordered. And I don't know.
If you're listening to us and you work at Walt's, somebody asked for canned beans. That's the Walt's chili item that they're asking for. In the parks, he goes on to say, it was definitely busy, but not insane. Coming from the California parks, we are used to being strategic about how we spend our time in lines. We strategically used the magic hour, so most waits for the rest of the rides were around 20 to 30 minutes. My wife and my older son also visited most of the shops in the parks and the village, during which my younger son and I spent extra downtime resting at the hotel in the mid-afternoon. Thank you, Beth, for the reminder that this can be a good use of time.
My pleasure. I'm glad my advice does not fall upon deaf, unappreciative ears. I'll take over here. How about this? For shows, we spent one evening watching the drone and fireworks show at DLP. This was the most crowded of the whole experience, as everybody converges at the castle before the park closes. Mm-hmm. The electrical parade in the sky lived up to the hype. Yes. In retrospect, I would have bought passes for the reserved area for my kids to see better. Yeah. But by the time I thought about it, they were already sold out. Skimming through the rest of the week, all the days were sold out. So maybe this is one of those things that has to be purchased at the earliest possible minute.
You heard it here.
Yeah,
I would. Was you heard it here.
It's hard to get them last minute. I've tried to nab those last minute too, and it's always busy. We also did the Mickey and the Magician show at Walt Disney Studios. We lined up about half an hour before showtime and got a great seat. It's worth checking out, especially for people who haven't seen too many Disney stage shows. So not a rave review.
Well,
from him.
Yes, but talking about the Disney night show, the nighttime, the Disney Electrical Parade and the nighttime show, we know that there's a new one coming on the 1st of January at the castle, and they're expanding it to have projections on Main Street. So we touched upon this on our last episode, but I think that's a good point to make, that they're actually hoping to spread out the crowd a little bit so that not everybody converges on the central hub in front of the castle, because there will be more, hopefully, to see all the way down. And in fact, it's nice to sometimes step back and see it from somewhere on Main Street. Because those fireworks and the drones go way up high. So you don't necessarily need to be right in front of the castle all the time. And I'm just wondering, because they were in the Disneyland Hotel, but they had a view of the car park. So they wouldn't be able to see anything.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
For transportation, we took a private car from Paris to DLP, but coming back, we took the magical shuttle to the airport. This worked really well and was reasonably priced at €70 for our family of 4. That's not bad, because the TGV is around €15 if you buy it early per person. So not bad.
Yeah.
For better or worse, the Disneyland Hotel is at the end of the line, so more than half of the time of the bus is spent picking up guests from other hotels. I actually found it really interesting to get a peek at each of the other hotels that I'd heard about on your podcast.
Okay.
Overall,
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, a good spin on it. Yeah, I like that.
Again, you should do a tour of the hotels, like we suggested. We should stay at one every night for a week. Overall, we had a great experience and really loved it. It felt a lot like being at the parks in California, with DLP and Walt Disney Studios feeling like slightly smaller versions in their Anaheim counterparts. I completely agree with Marq and others that expectations need to be measured in relation to how much construction is happening.
Yeah.
The walls in Walt Disney Studio make that park feel really small. So anyone who can wait until that's done would definitely get a better experience. Regardless, DLP was reliably enjoyable and special. Finally, is this the twist that you're talking about?
Yeah, you're coming up on it. You'll know when we get to it.
Okay, now it's
a few lines down.
If you wanted to do it, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, here, how about this? Finally staying at the Disneyland Hotel was the top highlight for us, as none of the Disney hotels in Anaheim are so literally on property. Yes, the Grand Californian is adjacent to the California Adventure Park, but that's not the same as being in Disneyland itself. And here it comes. The Grand Californian is even more exorbitantly expensive than Paris's Disneyland Hotel.
Let me just do a YouTube thumbnail for this.
Excellent. Maybe that'll get the viewers in. After going on about the prices and expense of Disneyland Hotel, to hear that the Grand Californian is even worse, that blew my mind.
Yes.
But we won't dwell on the price of anything because this was a fantastic once-in-a-lifetime trip for us and was worth the money and time. There you go. Thank you again to you and your podcast for giving me a window into the DLP parks in a way that was cozy, informative, and entertaining. Vince.
Thank you so much for that, Vince, because not only did we get your impression of Disneyland Paris as a US listener of our show, but you've given us also very good insights into your, let's say, Anaheim parks. For listeners who are based in Europe and are thinking of one day going over there, and were maybe thinking of staying at the Grand Californian.
Exactly. They can prepare themselves.
Yes, yeah. they might need to save up for a few more years than they had originally planned. But
that was I thought that was a great trip report, and it was just the right length. It was by no means too long. There was nothing to cut out. No fat needed to be removed. It was wonderful.
We've joked sometimes that we've said to people, okay, if you want to send in your trip reports, keep it under 2 minutes. But no, we actually love the long ones.
No, exactly. So we'll just say again, thank you so much to Vince for taking that time to write to us and share his family's experience. And thanks especially for all the nice things he said about us, because I think connecting with Disney fans is really what keeps us motivated, and it makes our job super fun. And Marq, speaking of fun, you like fun, don't you, Marq?
I'm all in for fun.
Okay. Well, I thought it would be fun to play a little game on this episode, okay? It's kind of like a game show on TV. You've surely seen like Wheel of Fortune, Tipping Point, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
What can I win?
Yeah. I'm very sorry. Our podcast
I'm glad you didn't
budget
say
is
Island or something like that.
No. The Bachelor. No. Okay. Sadly, no money's involved because we don't have any sponsors. Our budget is not, maybe once we get a few more views on the YouTube, but for now, all you are going to have is the satisfaction of a job well done. So, I hope you are willing to give it a go, because otherwise this episode will be like super short.
No, some people will be happy with that.
Come on, give it a try.
Yes. All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to DLP This or That. Our victim today, guest, is Marq. He will be presented with a series of choices between two things at Disneyland Paris. His job will be to decide which one he will keep and which one will go away forever. And then he'll have to justify his reasoning behind his choice. Okay, this is going to require quick thinking, nerves of steel. You ready, Marq? Yeah?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Buckle up, buddy, because these are some heart-wrenching choices you are going to be presented with. And, you can only keep one, remember. And I've prepared 15 matchups for you, okay?
I hope some of these matchups don't have anything very recent because I haven't been to the parks recently. So.
I tried to keep it to your like skill and knowledge level.
Okay,
It's very good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. So first up, we have a this or that walkthrough challenge, Swiss Family Treehouse, or Mysteries of the Nautilus.
Ooh.
Which one would you keep? Which one would you dump?
I would keep the Swiss Family Treehouse, and I would sink the Nautilus.
All right. Why have you scuppered our submarine, Marq? Tell us. Justify this choice.
Because, first of all, there's a difference in elevation we're talking about here. I love going up to the treehouse for the views. As a photographer, I like taking a long lens, and at the right time of day with the right light, you can get some amazing pictures up there. And just apart from that, I just love the tree itself. Even though I know it's a fake tree, but it's made to look quite realistic. And all of us love this kind of going back to our younger days when we were climbing in trees and, making tree houses, if we were able to do that at all. So there's a nostalgic part to that. But that's the main reason why I've chosen that over the Nautilus, because the Nautilus, when it's open, is a small space underground, and I believe now it even has a projection screen projecting something. So that's what used to be animatronics behind the glass or like aquarium is now no more. And that's I'm sorry, but that the magic immediately leaves for me at that point. So there we go.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, Mysteries of the Nautilus is the only one of its kind. Other parks do have tree houses, but I see your point. It's
but they don't
a
have the same
showstopper.
View.
Yeah, absolutely true. So I'll let you off easy on that one. I believe your reasoning.
If the Nautilus had a periscope that you could then look at Space Mountain or whatever, maybe they should think about that.
All right. Yeah. And unless they want Marq ripping it down pretty soon, they better get on that.
The periscope, if you're going to use video technology, the periscope should come up at the Captain Jack's in Pirates of the Caribbean, seeing the little boats.
Oh, that would be nice.
That
would be nice. Okay. So we've solved that problem. Okay.
Or
number two.
Or it should come up next to the submarines in Anaheim. Since you're doing a video connection link, let's do that.
Okay, it's like a version of the portal they have between New York City and Dublin, except this will be like the all right.
Yes.
Okay, number 2. This is a dark ride throwdown. Ready? Pinocchio's Fantastic Voyage or Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
Pinocchio. They're both quite scary for young children. If you haven't been in them, you're just like, well, Pinocchio, Snow White. No, actually, at some point, you'll understand if you go through it with young kids because
they low-key lose their minds. Yeah, it's a bit intense.
They're both very similar. They're actually next to each other in Fantasyland.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy to me. They are so similar and so near each other. This makes sense. Choose one. We're going to get rid of the other one.
Can't we knock down the walls between the two and make it one ride?
So this would be like Snow White's Fantastic Voyage?
Yes. If we're going to do IP crossovers, I think that would be the way to do it and make the ride longer as well, which would be nice in rainy days. But that's not what you're asking me to do.
No, I'm asking you to choose one of these. Which one is better? Which one do you think is better in the park?
Hi ho.
Mm-hmm.
An actor's life for me.
Which one do you go on more often? That's how I kind of decided in my head.
See, I haven't been on them for a long time because I used to go on them with the kids.
Yeah.
And then they got scared and then we didn't go on them anymore. All right. So I would say because I would say Snow White gets the axe.
Okay.
Pinocchio lives on. Why? Because Pinocchio is Italian and I like the pizza.
Okay, that that makes no sense. But fine. I would
go
say,
next to Bellanotte and I want to go to Pinocchio before just to get in the mood.
and now he's got the offensive stereotypes going.
I
Okay.
apologize
All right.
to all our Italian listeners.
I will just say that I go on these rides pretty regularly because I tend to take first timers to the park with me, but usually not young children, more like teenagers into adults. And so I always take them on both of these rides. Usually the wait times are low and they're kind of classics. And I would kind of agree with you about Pinocchio's Fantastic Voyage, keeping that. I find the scenes in it are more varied and detailed.
Yes.
I think it's a better show. Yeah.
It's interesting as a ride because you don't really know what to expect. And they've made something interesting out of it story-wise. And where else is Pinocchio as an attraction? Or is that also a Disneyland Paris exclusive? It's not an exclusive, is it? You don't have to look it up now. I'm just wondering because Snow White I know exists in other parks.
Yes. She has it Pinocchio. Even in Asian parks, but it drives me crazy. I don't know that. So
that's why we're doing a quiz.
Yeah, exactly.
As the quiz master, you should have known that. It's like the waitress at Walt. The can.
Oh no! Oh, the shame of it. But at least I'm doing this for free, buddy. Well, listen, this doesn't make for very good YouTube videos and me looking up things on my phone. Let's keep going and we'll figure this out.
I've seen worse YouTube videos.
Okay. I'm going to bring you to a quick service conundrum.
You know that all our listeners at home are now like, where else is there Pinocchio?
Yes, please tell us.
Damn hosts, they don't know anything.
Casey's Corner or Coco's over in Frontierland?
Coco's all the way. Coco's.
That was
so easy. That was so easy. Coco is such a party to go to. A sensory attraction of colors and music and flavors and margaritas, and you're going to try and position hot dogs against that and 1920 old-timey American baseball. I'm sorry, I'm European, no offense to the Americans, but Coco all the way, because I wish we were getting the Coco attraction in Disneyland Paris. That sounds amazing. Another boat ride that they've announced, but remember back when in Halloween when they had this Coco's Fiesta in that area near the it was still Fuente del Oro restaurant. That never came back, but that was amazing.
Yeah,
anyway,
it was beautiful.
Yes, that's an easy one.
All right. Our Marq has big feelings about that, and we totally support him. Okay. I mean, I think every park does have some kind of version of Casey's. It's a bit of a classic. I'm not angry at their hot dogs, especially the vegetarian version. But I have to agree, some frozen margaritas at Coco's and some nachos. Can't go wrong. Yeah. All right. Absolutely. So we'll just change it up a little bit. This is a challenge to your sense of fashion in the parks. Mickey ears or Loungefly backpack? Discuss.
Would I ever buy a Loungefly backpack?
We're
Dear
just
listeners.
banning one of them.
Dear listeners, I am not Beth. I am not Vanessa.
Okay.
I know that they would definitely choose the Loungefly backpack over the Mickey ears, but I am going to sell those Loungefly backpacks off to the resellers that really want them, and I'm going to go with the Mickey ears. And especially if they're bringing back the ones with the LED lights in them.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
There's some talk about that, maybe something like that happening. We were talking about the LED wristbands that they're using at Coldplay and Taylor Swift. So for the new nighttime show, there's a possibility that something like that is going to come back. But we don't deal in rumors here.
No. I mean, it would be lovely. I like a nice Mickey or Minnie ear. And this question, if somebody put it to me, I would be really torn because I am somewhat of a collector of Loungeflies. Okay.
Yes.
But you know what? I love going around the parks and seeing people wearing their cute ears. I love that.
And seeing them outside of the parks as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's
so much fun. Yeah, seeing people going around. So, yeah, I think I would probably have to give up my beloved Loungefly backpacks because Mickey ears, there's incontournable, as we say in French.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to take you back to some attractions here.
Although Loungefly backpacks are functional, you can actually put stuff in them.
Sort of. Actually, they're way too small for me.
There you
go.
Mickey
Okay, I did hear a hack recently on Amazon. You can buy small backpack organizers, like an insert that's just the right size to slide into a Loungefly backpack that gives you more compartments and zippered areas and things.
Oh.
Yes. And so when I go to the United States tomorrow, I am going to get myself one, and I will report back on if it changes my relationship to my Loungefly.
Apple is going to be bringing out a new iPhone soon. Any chance you could bring one for me?
Well, I guess so. You'll have to sell a lot of Loungefly backpacks on the resale market to pay for a new iPhone.
Yes, about 10.
Yeah. So I don't know. You'll have to get working, get on the Craigslist and the Etsy. Okay, I'm bringing this back around to attractions here. We have to get serious because we still have like 10 questions to get through. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. Mad Hatter's Teacups or Peter Pan's Flight?
Mad Hatter's Teacups, because
Okay.
Peter Pan is it's nice, but it's really needs a smoother ride system. Every time you get on there, it's like you go up and then it's ga-junk, and you turn around a corner and it's ga-junk. People who've been on it will know what I'm talking about. It's very magical to look down on it, but every time you're feeling one of those jolts, you're taken out of the magic of the ride. You're like, oh yes, I'm suspending on this ancient system here. So that's why the Teacups flows nice, does what it's supposed to. It's going round and round and is a classic. Yeah.
I mean, they're both really classic rides, but I have to agree, Mad Hatter loads and unloads more people much more quickly. The ride system never disappoints. Who doesn't love spinning around?
Yeah.
I have to concur with you there. I'm going to give you another one. Maybe this next one is going to be more difficult because
are you keeping score, or should I be doing that?
Well, there's not really a right or wrong or a score. We're just going to get through this. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad or Hyperspace Mountain?
Big Thunder Mountain.
Okay.
Had you said Space Mountain, I would have had a longer discussion about that. But
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Since
let's
it's
take it
Hyperspace
back.
Mountain, no take
No,
backs.
oh man, okay.
Big Thunder Mountain. No,
Okay, but that is interesting.
you can't compete with Big Thunder Mountains going under the river and then coming back
Yeah.
up and outdoors and then seeing the park again. It's I'm an outdoors kind of person. Like
Yeah.
Hyperspace Mountain, apart from the fact that it's getting old with its weak Star Wars TIE fighters laser jet
Yeah.
projections, is inside, and it's fun, but it's not. Oh, I want to do that again. Fun. Do you get my point?
I don't know. I like the ride system, and I think it's beautiful from the outside.
From the
but
outside, but it's completely different.
Yeah,
on the inside.
I have to agree. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad blows it out of the water, absolutely, so to speak.
So bring back the moon and I will consider this question again.
All right. When they retheme it back to its proper form, we will do another version of this or that, because there's obviously so many of these to do.
It'd be interesting talking to one of the original Imagineers about that, what they think about why these themes have like kind of infiltrated in their original designs. But okay, that's for another day.
Wow. I wonder if we know anybody that could give like an insider's viewpoint on that. Oh, well, we'll just have to see. I'm going to ask you question number 7, Mark.
Yes.
Indiana Jones, Temple of Peril, or Crush's Coaster?
I'm going to reveal something to you now. And you're going to make a YouTube thumbnail face. I have not ridden Crush's Coaster.
What the hell? That is insane, my man. How can you even be on this show? You've been here on false pretenses, Mark.
So many people are unsubscribing right now.
Oh man, they're just hitting that button. Unsubscribe. Oh my God. I've been deceived.
I have never managed to get onto Crush's Coaster because the queues were always too long when I was with my family, or we couldn't go on it because Vanessa was pregnant.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right,
Didn't do it that time. Yeah.
No, I have never managed to get onto Crush's Coaster. And I haven't done Magic Hour in Walt Disney Studios. So that is still one that I'm waiting to do. So unfortunately, for this particular question, that one gets no, actually I would have to choose the Crush's Coaster because I've not ridden it yet. So I'd have to get rid of Indiana Jones in order to be able to do Crush's Coaster because I've done Indiana Jones. There's your answer, Crush's Coaster.
Okay, we got there in the end, and a surprising fact was revealed about our Mark. So
keep listening for more surprising facts about
yes, exactly.
Mark and Beth.
How about some food now? Okay, we're on Main Street. We're gonna get some popcorn.
You know that I always bring my own sandwiches to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, heard about you, cheapskate. But popcorn is not that expensive. Are you having sweet popcorn or salty popcorn?
Can I have salted caramel popcorn? Is that available?
You know what? We
Paris?
don't have very much at Disneyland Paris. This isn't Tokyo here.
Yes.
You can have sweet or salty.
No, I'm not going with sweets because, as you know, I am I'm averse to the amount of sugar being served at Disneyland Paris. So yeah, it's a salty popcorn for me.
I have to say, when I first went to Disneyland Paris way back when, and I happily got some popcorn on Main Street. Okay, this was a long time. This was like 1995. Okay, I got my popcorn. I take a bite, and I thought I was freaking being poisoned because sugary popcorn was so weird to me. Like in the States, you have salty popcorn, which is white colored or maybe sort of buttery colored. And then any kind of sweet popcorn would be more like a caramel corn. You don't have just like white popcorn sitting there looking like it's delicious and salty and crunchy, and then like sneaking up on you and hijacking you and putting a whole bunch of sugar in your mouth. It was terrible. I had very strong feelings about this ever since the mid-90s.
Interesting.
All right, so we are one-minded.
Corn-based, I want salty, just like my nachos.
I hear you. Okay, next one. This will be interesting, but I think I know your answer. Are you having Mickey waffle, or are you having poffertjes?
Poffertjes.
Okay.
I'm having poffertjes with a little bit of poedersuiker on top and a little bit of stroop. No, actually, it's like a little bit of butter and just like that.
It sounds lovely, but you know what? I think they would sell more if it was easier to pronounce. I wouldn't order any because I'm afraid to say it.
They call them Dutch mini pancakes. DMPs.
All right. Okay. I'll say that to the cast member, and I'll get the same read.
But yes.
No. But all right. That was a clear winner. Definitely.
I don't understand why they don't serve poffertjes at Pim Kitchen, because they will have been miniaturized. They're miniaturized pancakes.
They're already miniaturized.
You're welcome, Disneyland Paris. I gave you a new menu idea.
Yeah. Marq is just here mining gold for you if you'll just make the effort. Okay, we just have a few more questions. Number 12, cocktails at the Skyline Bar or champagne on Main Street?
Ooh, I do love a good cocktail. I'm not that into champagne, but I do like the idea that in Disneyland Paris, you can actually drink a champagne at the castle with a view of the castle, and especially if you're looking at the fireworks and Disney Electrical Sky Parade. But I'm going to have to go with the cocktails at the Skyline Bar because they're pretty good and pretty inventive. And I think that's the great way to round off a day at Disneyland Paris. Yes.
That's a solid choice. The atmosphere there is so great. I love the music they play. The cast members there are always excellent. And, I love that champagne on Main Street, but I mean, there's a good chance you'll get trampled to death while enjoying your lovely French
also
champagne.
Possible, but you do get some nice glasses sometimes. Like when we were there for the 30th anniversary, I distinctly remember somebody getting some champagne glasses there.
Yes, absolutely. Wonderful keepsake.
Cocktails at the castle. That's what we need. Disneyland Paris.
Yes, that would be ideal.
There you go.
Just a few more now.
Yep.
Auberge de Cendrillon or Walt?
Dear listeners, I have not been to either of these two establishments yet.
Oh my gosh, I'm talking to the wrong person here. Because I was trying
to get into Crush's Coaster and failing. I didn't have time to go to these two restaurants.
You got all tied up. Exactly. Okay. Well, I'll let you up.
From the menu and the pricing and the theming, I have. I definitely want to go to Walt's at some point, much more than I want to go to Auberge de Cendrillon. So that's my choice. I want to have those canned beans.
Yes, Walt's chili. Here he comes. All right, good answer, considering that you have a limited amount of information to go on. Number 14, Rhythms of the Pride Lands or Together, a Pixar Musical Adventure. There's one right answer here.
Rhythm of the Pride Lands.
Thank you. We can still be friends, Marq, even though you haven't been on Crush's Coaster or eaten at Walt.
Amazing show. Absolutely fantastic for taking pictures as well. Great cast, great performers, music. That's the one I would go with. Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. There is only one true answer. Okay. We're about at the end. This is finally the ultimate this or that matchup.
Yep.
Think carefully before you answer, Mark. Okay? Cars Road Trip or Alice and the Queen of Hearts Back to Wonderland.
Oh, why are you doing this to me? And they're both Disneyland Paris exclusives, so I can't.
They are.
Yes. Yeah. What would I get rid of first? Okay, I am going to, simply because I love a good show, I'm going to go with Alice Back to Wonderland. And everybody should go see this show, even if I haven't yet.
Yes. I mean, you know, at least Cars Road Trip, I mean, it does have Catastrophe Canyon. I mean, that's a sure value.
Yes, but just make it Catastrophe Canyon then, without the rest of the road trip.
Fair enough. If we have access to any Imagineers soon, we can put that question to them and see if they have any quick fixes for that situation.
There are no quick fixes for Cars Road Trip.
At any rate, Mark, you did really good. Thank you for playing with me.
This is great. And we should get Vanessa on the show and do this one time.
We will. That'll be a great way to warm her back up when she gets back in the swing of things. Mm-hmm. And it just remains to me to say thanks for being here, everybody. And we'll see you next time on DLP, This or That. Okay, so that was fun, wasn't it, Mark?
That was great. And I think we should do that with all our guests who come onto the show.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's kind of revealing as well, because it'll help make choices for the next trip. You know, I now realize that priorities are Crush's Coaster and Walt's.
Yeah, I would say that is totally legit. Those are both good things to see. I mean, it is a bit of a headache getting onto Crush's Coaster. You have to be really organized, and it's worth
just make sure that
but
you do that on magic hours. But then you'd have to stay at a Disney hotel. So yeah, we'll do that on the Disney hotel hopping week.
Okay, that's a plan. All right.
Got to find a sponsor for that. So I think we've reached the 1 hour mark. Nicely filled up with that quiz of yours. Thank you very much, Beth. And I think we can see out the show, don't you?
Yeah, man. I have a plane to catch. I got to quit packing.
Off to the USA.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've started the outro music. There it is. Thank you for listening to the D2DLP podcast. You can subscribe to the show on all podcatchers, including Apple, Spotify, and BoatPodder. If you have a moment, please rate and review the show, as it helps new listeners find and enjoy us. You can also follow our posts and get involved on our Instagram and Facebook feeds. You can now also view our podcasts on YouTube. Send any requests, questions, encouragement, or trip reviews to dlp@dedicatedtodlp.com and check out our website, www.dedicatedtodlp.com. Thank you for listening to the next one. And don't forget, please view our YouTube videos because we really need more views. Let's get the algorithm going. Yes, thank you. Goodbye.